Hello, welcome to this video. Thanks for joining me. My name is Brother Aaron Richardson. I'm a Franciscan friar living and working at a soup kitchen in Philadelphia. The readings proclaimed today, the 31st Sunday of Ordinary Time, go straight to the heart of both the Hebrew Scriptures and the New Testament. In case you haven't heard or read them yet, the first reading has Moses proclaiming, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord alone. Therefore you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength." Some might say that this sums up all of the Old Testament, and if you think that, then you might find yourself in good company, because in the Gospel reading, a scribe asks Jesus what the greatest commandment is, and Jesus quotes Moses, "Love God with all your heart, your soul, and your strength." And then Jesus adds a second commandment. Now wait, time out. If we're talking about the greatest commandment, how can there be two? By definition, there can only be one greatest. There can be two great commandments, but only one greatest. You wouldn't say that the greatest movie of all time is Citizen Kane and Jurassic Park. There can only be one greatest. Maybe neither of those are the greatest ever, but either way, both can't be the greatest. But what if I told you that the greatest filling for a sandwich is peanut butter and jelly? Now hold on, brother, you might say. That's two fillings, peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, I'd say, but you can't have one without the other. And so I hope you're nodding in agreement, like, yeah, you gotta have both. So it is for God's greatest commandment. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. You gotta have both. You can't have one without the other. They both shape and inform each other. It's been said that if you find that God hates everything that you hate, then you have made God in your own image, which is a trap that I know is all too easy to fall into. And that's a problem, because how can you actually love God if you've molded God into your own ideas about God? That's not the real God, it's just your projection. Loving God with all my heart, soul, and strength requires me to move beyond myself. Genuine love of neighbor teaches us how to do this, because genuine love of others gets us outside of ourselves, moving beyond our own private agendas, so that we're living not by our will alone, but learning to give ourselves over to the will of others. So the practice of love for our neighbors moves us beyond ourselves and teaches us how to love God more deeply. Likewise, loving God with all our heart, soul, and strength shapes the way that we love others. As we abide in mutual love with God, loving God and being loved by God, who is our Creator and our ultimate destiny, we come to know God's desire that all things might be brought together. We come to know God's love for all that has been created. So when we turn to our neighbor, we begin to believe, despite outward appearances, despite differences of opinions, differences in culture, language, and social status, despite all our differences, we begin to believe that we each have a common origin and a common destiny. So with that frame of reference, differences between you and I are not causes for division, but invitations to discover God alive in the life of another. Differences between you and I are invitations to further discover God alive in myself. Differences between you and I are invitations to find our common ground. And our common ground is this: we are all from God, and we are each returning to God. And as we live into that belief, we grow in understanding, in knowing, and in living that connection. We realize the reality that because of our common origin, we belong to each other. Yeah, we belong to God, and we belong to each other. And you gotta have both.